The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendle-nu-tech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information.
This is a test of the Boundary Park Alert System.
Hello and welcome to the Boundary Park Alert System with me, Matt Dean. This week, Andy Halliwell is on holiday. He's celebrating his 10th wedding anniversary with his lovely wife, Lucy, in Italy. So congratulations, Andy and Lucy. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Dave Bradley was offered the chance to come and stand in, but he said that he was boozing in Liverpool and didn't want the responsibility, which is fair enough. Although I did check with him this morning and he said he was in bed for 11 last night. So obviously it didn't degenerate too badly. So, but either way, not having Dave around is no bad thing, obviously. I am joined though, which makes up the numbers. I've got two fan guests, a double act, if you like, that has appeared before on the podcast. You may or may not remember, but we'll go through the fan questions. I've got the responsibility for everything on my own shoulders today, so it's going to be a lot to ask of me at 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning. It's a bit early. We'll find out the reasons why in a little while, but. Yeah, I've had a coffee, so as the hour develops, I should start to come to life. But right, fan guests. So there's two of you. It's a father and son combo. So what were your first games? Let's go furthest back in time and start with Dad.
Okay, it was the 67-68 season, and I've got to say I'm not sure what the game was, but I think it was probably the first game of the season, first home game. I became a ball boy in the season after that, and I know I went to 5 or 6 games the season before in what was the stand before the Lookers stand.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a bit ago.
Wow, yeah, I mean, there's been 3 stands where that stand stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And what about you?
From what I remember, I'm pretty sure my first game was Liverpool at home in the FA Cup when we beat them. Pretty sure it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Certainly in one of the more memorable home games at Boundary Park. And speaking of what is the stand that you were in originally, that wasn't even there. There was no stand at that game. That was during the period before the no stand was built. Yeah. So, favourite players then?
I'm going for Roger the Dodger. Though my first favourite player was Jim Fryatt. Bald head, long sideburns, diving headers. I'll never forget him from when I first started watching him in the orange kit as well. Yeah, so I'll go for Jim Fryatt actually.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, good stuff. It's a shame there's not much in the way of footage, is there, from those days of those players for us all to catch up on. But yeah, from what I've heard, he was a very good player. And what about you?
I'd probably say it'd probably be between 2 players, either Peter Clark or Dylan Bahambula.
Bahambula, he had a good season. It was the season that it was on TV, wasn't it? Really, the streamed season, the COVID season, and he really, once he got to play in front of a crowd, he wasn't quite as good. But
wasn't the same, no.
It wasn't the same. But yeah, Peter Clark's obviously a legend. So, Brill, favorite Latics. No, favourite away game is the next question, isn't it?
Right. There's a lot, but because it's a bit topical, I'm going to go for York away last season in the playoffs, 3-0. Yeah. That was an amazing game, great atmosphere. Lucky to get a ticket, the two of us, and I think they were expecting to win. We were hoping we would win, but it was just one of those games where it was just unbelievable, and the celebrations afterwards and the Josh Stone song that they've now repeated.
Well, that's it. Topical York. We can come on to York in a while, but yeah, it was a real privilege to be at that game, wasn't it? Because it was a very restricted number of tickets, and everybody wanted to be there, and it was everybody that went didn't let the fans who didn't go down. It was atmosphere was absolutely amazing.
Oh.
And alternatively, is it the same?
It was going to be that originally, but I'll go for one this season. I'll go for Chesterfield away this season.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it was, especially for was it a Tuesday night as well? It was a Tuesday night, and the atmosphere in the midweek can often not be quite as good because obviously if it's during the week. But it was a cracker, great result, really good atmosphere, brill. Yeah, right. So unknown or little known facts about yourself, please.
Right. So I'm Dad. I'm Stephen. I know we're not Ant and Deck. Our names are the wrong way around. Comedian Stuart Lee.
Oh yeah.
I went to see him with Daniel's elder brother Tom in the early 2010s, and it was I worked in London a little bit. Tom lives in London. We went to watch Stuart Lee in the Soho Theatre. There were about 100 people there. At the beginning of the gig, it could have been the end of the gig, he said, "I'm just going to take a picture of the whole of the audience." Took a picture, and then after he'd taken it, he said, "That's going to be on the front of my next book." So me and Tom are on the cover of Stuart Lee's book from 2012.
Oh, there you go.
Along with about 100 other people, but you can see us.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. And Daniel, what about you?
Not necessarily a fact, but I'd say that I know around probably 95% of all flags in the world. That's
and what have you got against the other 5%?
It's just little islands that I can't remember.
All right, you just not quite got there yet.
All the reds and yellows and greens.
Right. Well, that's good. I wish there was some way that we could test your flag mind later
That's
on.
what I was thinking of last night. Like, do I say this or not? I feel like my flag is, I just won't know it.
Yeah. Do you, Stephen? Sorry, the fan guests is Daniel and Steve. Sorry, what's your surnames, guys?
Sidgwick.
Stephen and Daniel Sidgwick, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Does Daniel have a habit of pointing out, like, when there's random flags at football matches and just say, "Oh yeah, he plays for some random Caribbean island"?
Yeah, it does happen, yeah. I think there was a game last season. It was Yeovil away, and a flag appeared behind the goal for about 2 minutes. It got taken away, and Daniel knew it was North Korea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the North Korean one.
Took it away,
yeah. That flag was Adam's flag, who stands next to me. He's been on the podcast a few times. He is. I assume I haven't spoken to him, but I assume he was at Newport yesterday, and he's on for 100% games this season, every single game, which is a great achievement. I'd love to know actually. If you're listening, anybody who can tell us who else has been to 100% of the games this season, because I think it's a big commitment in it over 9 months to make every single game. So fair play. Unfortunately,
Daniel's missed 2 away games. That's it.
All right. Well, that's good. No, not at all. No. So where are you two based?
Okay, I'll tell you where we are, and then that'll. So we live in Groton, so not far from a certain person.
Oh, okay, right, okay. So so you've got to travel then. Did you travel if you go into away games? You have to travel like from Groton. Did you go to Newport yesterday?
We did. We went on the supporters coach, not the booze bus, but on the supporters coach yesterday. We often do the supporters coach now. It's a good trip. Good trip on the coach. No booze, but Frank and Judith were on there yesterday as well, which is often good for them to be along as well. I know they come into the Frank especially comes into the fans at home and away games, doesn't he? But they often travel on that coach as well.
Yeah, bro. So on to yesterday then. It was a feast of football yesterday. So there was the Rochdale York game. Which would have been while you were travelling down to Newport, I guess. When
we got in the ground, I can't remember what time it was now. There were quite a few people around. It was about 10 minutes to go, I think, in that game.
All right, but perfect.
Quite a few people around us who were watching it or listening to it. So we did get snippets of what was happening, and we wanted Rochdale to get promoted rather than York. So us and quite a few others were celebrating, and then 5 minutes later, it was York. So yeah, there you go.
A bit more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was mad. It really was. So I was kind of like, obviously, I mean, the Rochdale game, really good goal from Rochdale, good cross, good header, and I was like, surely that's it. But then York had a bizarre goal, really. I mean, especially when you think back to Shrewsbury the other week, where Latics got a goal that looked like the ball was clearly over the line. Well, to some of us and some of us not, but it was a dubious goal. It was a dubious decision. Yesterday was a very dubious one. I think it was. I mean, the linesman was right on the line. Josh Stones had a shot. I thought that the York player maybe had handballed it on the line, but they gave a goal, and that was it. So I think you'd probably have to say that over a couple of seasons, York deserved to be up there. But I thought it was funny as anything when Rochdale scored and they were going to have to go through the playoffs again. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed. But you have to, on balance, I think York have probably earned the right to play in the Football League this season.
They've scored a lot of goals, haven't they? And they've played well. They've got a couple of 3 at least ex-Latics players as well.
I think so, yeah.
I think Kitchen's been player of the season, hasn't he? And he was great for us, but in the same or similar position, Robbo is probably our player of the season.
Yeah.
Good player, but he's just got an engine on, hasn't he? I wouldn't
swap him. I wouldn't swap him for Kitchen again. No. Definitely not. No. And then, so obviously after the excitement of the Rochdale York game, I was thinking, well, Latics, bit of a dead rubber for us, but obviously Newport needed it. I thought it was probably not going to be able to compete, but there was a fair amount of incident in the game yesterday, wasn't there? It was 3-2 we lost, obviously, but yeah, I mean, what was it like on the terrace?
It was a bit.
It was a weird old game. It was.
Yeah, we've seen snippets on the way back on your phone, but while we were there, Fondop sending off, that looked very dubious. And when you look back and see that referee also sent Woods off at Harrogate and wouldn't let Ollie Hammond off after he dislocated his shoulder, he seems to have some sort of vengeance against Latics. When we saw it, I thought, Fondop incident, when I saw it, I thought, when he gave the free kick, I thought, that could have gone either way. And then he just got his red card out and sent him off, and Fondop couldn't believe it either. I don't think any Latics fans could believe that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is obviously they went ahead. We were sort of composed ourselves, managed to score a couple of goals from set piece. So it looked like we'd taken control of the game at 2-1. I think with 11 men on the pitch, we probably would have scored more goals against them. But that red card changed the game completely. I've not seen the highlights. I've seen some posts on social media, some clips that have shown it. But for me, if anything, I think maybe Fondop's timing was a bit off and he was a bit clumsy. But I think a straight red card was just ridiculous. A terrible decision.
No intent. I don't think a couple of seasons ago, he had a couple of dodgy tackles, didn't he? Which were probably mistimed rather than intentional. But that's not in his nature, is it? I don't think. It doesn't seem to be anyway.
No, I mean, there is a question of like, what was he doing at that part of the pitch, putting tackles in? Like, I mean, it was very, very deep. But like, I mean, that's not the point, is it? The point is that like it was 2 players going for the ball. They clashed together, and then it happens every week. I think there is a lot of conspiracy on the internet about this referee and Latics, but I think it's justified, especially when you go back to the end of the game. Then, I mean, Simeon had a weird game yesterday, didn't he? He scored, which I think was his first goal for Latics. But then, what the hell was he doing with that incident with Hudson? Clattered into Hudson. Thankfully, reports are coming out of the Oldham Times that he's okay. It was I think they were just being very precautionary yesterday, which obviously they will be doing with any kind of head injury. He got straight up, didn't he? To be fair to him, trying to defend it. We were lucky not to concede in that instance, but yeah, it was a bit calamitous, really.
It was a little, yeah. And then Donaghy came on, and to be fair to him, he made some really good saves.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did well. And he saved a penalty, which, it's a 50-50. You could say a penalty's 50-50, isn't it? But he dived the right way and made a good save. And that was well into injury time as well, wasn't it? Well into added time, and we thought that was it.
Yeah.
We've been playing with 38-year-old, one of my favourite players at the moment, Joe Garner up front, and he was just on his own up front after Fondop went. He doesn't often play 90 minutes. Never mind, I think we probably played 120 minutes yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah,
yeah. And then
going back to that referee though, and that decision for the penalty again, I thought that was a shocker.
Yeah,
just two players going for the ball. Just because two players just because there's contact between two players going for a ball doesn't mean it's a foul or a penalty. Yeah. So I thought we'd got away with that one because I certainly wasn't expecting another chance to come after that. But
no,
he
was just playing. He was like, you know, when you play with your mates and it's next goal wins. I think he was playing. Yeah. Well, he was playing until Newport scored, wasn't he?
Seemed like it, didn't it? Because it was well over it. It was another couple of minutes on top of the injury time.
Minutes.
Yeah. So it was. But look, you can blame the referee and criticize all you want, but you still got to defend it until the whistle's gone. You've still got to defend it, and he was just. It looked initially, I was like, oh, surely that's offside, but maybe not. Sometimes it looks like it because he's so far behind the defence. But there's no doubt about it that since Daniels has been injured, we are not the same defensive unit, are we? As we were. I mean, conceding again 3 goals yesterday, 4 defeats on the bounce. I'm not. I don't read too much into it, lads, because I think we are absolutely down to bare bones, and the it's the end of the season now, so I don't think it really has many, if any, implications for next season. But it'd be nice to finish with a win against Accrington on Saturday, because it has been a bit of a rough ride the last 4 games, hasn't it?
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a bit of momentum just to end the season with. I agree with you massively. Daniels has, as much as I gave him a lot of criticism because of how, after Notts County, when he sort of went off a bit, coming back after that, he just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same when he started the season. Then he really came into his own about 10-ish games later. But really missed him since when he's injured. Yeah, he's just been a massive miss because he's just not been that communication between him and Manny. Usually that's what there is, like a lot of communication between those two, whereas like Simi doesn't talk as much, so there's not enough communication.
Manny's quite quiet, isn't he? Yeah. And a lot of people say, like Daniel has there, that Daniels has played by the side of Manny on a 200 or 300 games probably across different clubs, and he talks to him. I think Manny's quite a quiet person. We all know he's a great defender. But he possibly needs a bit of, somebody talking to him by the side of him. And like you say, Matt, we've definitely missed that.
Yeah. Well, you just need that communicator at the heart of your defence. It's imperative. It's not just the defence that benefit from it. It's the midfield that benefit from it as well. The relationship with the goalkeeper, and like yesterday, the communication between Simu and Hudson probably doesn't happen. Maybe if it's Donovan Daniels on the ball because the communication's better. So it's a real shame. It's just not the wind out of our sails a little bit towards the end of the season, but it's not the end of the world. Let's have a listen to Mickey Mellon anyway and see what he thought of the result and performance. I've not listened to this yesterday, so I'm looking forward to hearing what he's at.
Mickey, what are your thoughts at the end of that game?
First and foremost, I want to thank the supporters for the away support all season, which has been fantastic. It's terrific. Sending half kills it, doesn't it? It's very difficult for us, and the amount of time for the play with 10 men, but we still get away poor goals. We still get away really, really poor goals. And we'll fix it. We're 1 game to go now. And we've got a big summer now. We've got a big summer. We knew that anyway. We've got a big summer that will no doubt have to do stuff in.
Did you have a view on the red card?
Do you know what? I really didn't see it. I thought at best that Michael Fondop was clumsy. I thought at best that that's what it was. I thought he went for the ball. I don't think he had any intention to hurt the lad. But I never had a great view of it.
I know it's early days, but obviously the main consideration probably is Matt Hudson. How's he?
He's probably going to have to go to hospital. We'll get him up there and we'll make sure that he's properly looked after. So we'll know more when obviously when I think he's going to go to the hospital again. The goals, we give him poor goals. I mean, that's something that we'll fix in the summer, and we know what we need to do, and all that to move things forward. But yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, to play with 10 men for that amount of time is tough, and I believe that the players gave everything they could. We lacked that defensive quality that was going to be needed to see you over the line, because defending is a quality, and we probably lacked that today. We lacked that for the last couple of games, to be fair, but we learn from it, and we'll get on with what we've got to do and moving forward.
So 2 incidents. First of all, the sending off. What did you think of that?
I didn't see it, but I kind of just seen Mike going for the ball, and then I seen all the crowd all going mad. And I'll be honest with you, I thought that ref could have done anything. We've had him before that. It's the Ollie Hammond ref that thought Ollie Hammond was play acting it. So I thought anything could happen, and it did. So yeah, I wasn't surprised.
The other thing is Matt Hudson. What do we know about him?
We'll find out, man. He's going to get sent up to hospital, so we'll get him up there, and then we'll get him in good hands and make sure he's okay.
But it looked like sort of head neck injury.
Yeah, I think he got kicked in the head. Took a sore one, but it would take a lot to get him up. But we don't take any risks and get him off safely.
You said to me 10 days ago at Barrow that you were looking a bit leggy, just getting a bit tired. In a way, do you just want the season to finish now so you can regroup and think about next year?
Yeah, I hate to say that, because I hate to be that kind of thing, but we need choose my words carefully here, but we know that we've got a lot of players injured, and we know that we need to make improvements to move things forward. We know we've learned that now. Everybody's had a crack in the group, but everybody's had a crack in the last 4 games, and also nobody can say that they haven't had a good goal to say that they want to be part of things. So we'll move on with that now and keep trying to improve things.
And at least you have time this summer, which you maybe
that's a big
summer.
Definitely. Last season was tough, trying to fit it on, and didn't know what division we're going to be in, and a lot of things had been done by other clubs. This season we'll be able to have a better look at it, and Oldham will undoubtedly be a good proposition for a lot of players. So we will have been looking at the market anyway, but we will endeavour to put a group together that sort of things like the last sort of the 5 games don't happen.
But given the fact that you came to it late, I mean, I felt that you'd begun to find your feet, maybe Cheltenham when you won away from home. How pleased are you with what you have achieved this season?
It's difficult to cover it today because I don't like getting beat, but certainly the group of players that have got us into that situation have done terrific. But we've tailed off, and we can't forget that. We've tailed off and lacked defensive quality, lacked attacking quality as well. And that's something that we'll fix.
Mickey Mellon there on the defeat at Newport, but also, I think more interestingly at this stage of the season, talking about recruitment. He said everyone's had a fair crack. I think some players probably had more of a crack than others, to be fair. Andy Halliwell doesn't miss anything. Let me just say this, of anything that's going around. But it was posted on the Press and Journal, Your Voice of the North, which is in Scotland, that Ross County are changing their management structure, and Greg Strong, their recruitment person, is coming to Latics, according to them. So Mickey Mellon has presumably got contacts up north in Scotland. One would have thought. I'm sure it's not a coincidence. So there is going to be work done in recruitment. There's obviously new players needed. Some big, we speak about it regularly. Manny and Hudson are the two sort of the main kind of concerns, I would say. We've got a very good left back in Jamie Robson. We've got strength through the squad, but there is going to be big changes. You mentioned Joe Garner there, one of your favourite players, but he's getting on a bit in football terms.
Yes.
I mean, he played 90 yesterday. I was surprised by that personally. I thought maybe Hammond would have come on for a bit of legs up front, but
maybe that in itself tells you something.
Maybe it does, yeah. Maybe it does. But I think, like he said, he's disappointed with the result yesterday, disappointed with the last 4 results. Obviously, we have tapered off, and it is a bit disappointing.
We're the fire experts, fire safety experts at Pendle New Tech. We train fire marshals, fire safety marshals at Pendle New Tech.
Pendle New Tech have fire experts across the UK covering all your local and national needs. With over 100 years experience in the fire safety industry, you know that you can trust
Pendle New Tech.
Right, enough of that now.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of changes next season, or what?
Yes, I think we both do. Yeah, we have got some good players. He's given opportunities to some people. Some people have grasped that, and you think, they'll play next season, and some haven't. Daniel, to be fair to Daniel, he knows a lot about this level of football, looks into it a lot, and Daniel's got a list of about 40 players who he thinks would improve us next season. I know there's a lot of people put things on social media about that, but there will be a lot of players about Latics. If they've got this Greg Strong in for recruitment, then the powers that be at Latics are not daft. They will make sure that they've recruited the right person to do the recruitment. And as Mickey said there, we've got the opportunity to start earlier than last season. It was June the 1st, wasn't it, when we won at Wembley? Brilliant day. But we couldn't really sign people after that, not necessarily knowing what division we'd be in, and we probably missed out on a few people then. But great opportunity to start now. As he said, they'll have started the recruitment process, talking to people already. Some people will stay and some people will go. And without mentioning names, maybe some people who've joined us since January might not stay either. I know Daniel's got a long list of names. Don't necessarily want to say them all, but there's a lot of players in there.
I mean, it's going to be very competitive, as it always is. We know what the finances can be like, and we've got teams coming up that have got money to spend, and teams coming down with money to spend, no doubt. Does it fill you with confidence that we're bringing in the head of recruitment from the second bottom team in the Scottish Championship? I mean, I'm not writing him off before he comes in. I'm just. It's not. When you put it in those stark terms, it doesn't sound particularly brilliant, does it? But I'm sure. Good luck to the lad.
You would imagine he'll have a bigger budget at Latics than he did at the team at the bottom of the Scottish.
Very true. And working for a team with a much greater appeal. Like Mickey said, it is a good prospect to come. So, I mean, it's going to be hard recruiting in the lower reaches. Well, even at the higher reaches of Scottish football. Never mind the lower reaches of Scottish.
I think Ross County is quite northern as well, isn't it? So it'd be easier to attract people to the metropolis of Oldham than Ross County.
Well, exactly. Yeah, Oldham within the metropolis of Greater Manchester, a football hotbed. So absolutely, and. There is, the style of recruitment I'm led to believe is more on the looking at players, let's say, side of things and watching them rather than the data. So that seems to be a model, I guess, that I assume that Mickey Mellon is more comfortable with being, with him being a bit more old school, I would say.
Yeah, you would imagine so. There were again, you never know whether you can fully believe what you read on social media. There was the thing about people from Syracuse University, wasn't there? Some interns or students that were looking at the data from America about recruiting players for Oldham Athletic. It's not fully. That wasn't the whole recruitment policy, but it was played part of it, didn't it? So
well, there's absolutely no harm in experimenting, in trying things, in looking at models that may or may not work. I think when we're in the way I look at it is, I mean, I would imagine that Mickey Mellon, I don't imagine, I know Mickey Mellon's just signed a new 2-year deal. We all know that. Yeah. I would imagine that recruitment and how, these are the kind of discussions, obviously, that are going to take place. It's not just a case of, Mickey, do you want a new deal? Yes, I want a new deal. They're going to have conversations about what the next 2 seasons look like, how it's going to work, what the roles and responsibilities are, etc., etc. So I would imagine that part of his deal, part of the terms was, bringing somebody in that he wanted to work with for recruitment, etc. And I think in League Two, where we are in our development, we don't have, although we will have a bigger budget than Ross County and other lower league Scottish teams, we don't have a massive budget to work with. There will be a long-term recruitment strategy, which will, and bringing players through the academy and all that kind of stuff. But we are still in more of a short-term phase, I think, at the moment, where we're going season to season, and I think giving Mellon the responsibility and letting him do what he wants and just get us out of the division. That's the job. And then from League One, we can start thinking probably a little bit more advanced about recruitment and whatnot, and a bit more long term, I guess.
Yeah, and Mickey's got the experience of getting teams out of League Two into League One as well, hasn't he? It might be different from 5 or 6 years ago when he last did it, but he has got that knowledge and experience, and he seems to have a good team around him as well. On the playing side, the training side, and then obviously the management of the club. We're in a much better position. We all know we're in a much better position than we were under the previous regime, don't we? That's just an obvious thing to say.
Yeah.
But onwards and upwards at the beginning of the season, hopefully we get a positive result against Accrington, play well, a draw, a victory. We should finish in the top half of the league. At the beginning of the season, we probably would have taken that. I think, Matt, you'd maybe said top 7, top 10. Daniel, you were thinking top half, weren't you? And we were flirting with the playoffs, weren't we, 4 or 5 games ago, and we thought we might get it, but I know we had a conversation, didn't we? That would be brilliant, but it might be a season too early.
Yeah, I think so. I think that probably would be the case. But I think this season, I think we could have finished the table high. I think we've been unlucky with injuries. Key players like Stevens, not being available, and I don't think that looking at the league, and seeing how we've matched ourselves against most teams in the division, we've not been the double's not been done over as many times. It has been, but it's not been many. We have matched ourselves against most teams in this division. And our best team, having our best team out there, we can give anyone a game, but it's a long, hard season. It's a very, very physical league, and it does take its toll. And I think in terms of anything, we need robust players next season who can mix it physically, who can last the course. You're always going to get some injuries that are a bit more serious, but we need physical players that can mix it, who are young enough to be able to play every game of the season, pretty much. You need players with engines like Robson, don't you? And that's what you need. He's unbelievable.
We could do with 10 outfield Jamie Robsons, couldn't we?
Yeah, but look, we're competing for them with everybody else in the football league, and that's it's not easy.
And we could do with finding nuggets like, and I mean that golden nuggets like Joe Quigley, and sell them on at a good profit as well.
yeah, that was the masterstroke of the season, wasn't it? But
it was,
yeah. Sutton yesterday scored a good header, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He played well, didn't he? He's a local lad. He's come through the academy. He's the only one probably now who's in the team or the squad. I know McMahon Brown been on the bench for the last few games, but he's done really well, Will, hasn't he? And realistically, he's played out of position for the last 2 seasons, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Right back. But he'd find it difficult to get in as a first choice centre back, wouldn't he? But where he's played, he's done really well. Yeah, you've got to admire him for that. He took a lot of stick maybe last season, but he's come out of that and he's come through it. He scored a good goal, didn't he, at Cheltenham, I think? And he scored yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, he had another good effort, didn't he? A good shot with his left foot as well yesterday. He likes to get forward and have a go. We need more of that, and we'll get more of that as the years go by and the academy develops and whatnot. That's just something we're going to have to be patient with. I think in the meantime, and this is the issue that we've got. If you want to get players who are in their prime, in their sort of mid-20s, 26, 27-year-old. at this level, who are good at this level, then that's what everybody wants, and they demand the best wages. And so what we've done in the past is we've brought in players that that towards the end of their careers that have played at a higher level, but who don't have the same attributes that those younger, fitter players have, and maybe are carrying niggles from a longer career in the game. So it's getting that balance in it. I think maybe over the last couple of seasons, the balance has been tipped maybe in the slightly older lads, and that comes with its issues. Or we've been bringing in players that have got a lot of quality, but can't quite seem to stay fit for the duration, and that's a frustration, really.
It's good for Jack Stevens, a fit Jack, like you said a little while ago, a fit Jack Stevens all season would be good as well, wouldn't it? We've seen him in short bursts, haven't we? 4 or 5 games where you can see what he does, and then for whatever reason he's picked up a bit of a niggly injury and sat out. I didn't follow. Where was he before? Solihull. I think he played a lot of games last season for Solihull.
Yeah. I think near the end of the season he got injured as well.
Yeah, and we've gone away from the short-term deals as well, haven't we? And now people are getting a 2-year contract or a 2.5-year deal, which, if it's the right players, is a good thing, isn't it? Ryan Woods is a great example of somebody who could, in my opinion, our opinion, could get us out of this league. He's
next to him.
With the right person, with a younger person next to him as well, who's got an engine. Tom has done brilliantly. You've got to say that as well. But to take us on to the next level, somebody good, young, to play alongside him. And I know there are players out there, aren't they? And like you say, other teams are looking. Everybody's looking for those, aren't they? Everybody's looking for the 20, 25 goal a season forward as well, aren't they?
Yeah, we are going to need that, though. We are going to need somebody who can bang in 20 goals. Any promotion team has someone like that, and you need somebody from midfield that's going to score as well. But we've loads of positives. Like, look, Drummond has come on leaps and bounds this season, and he's been really well. I think Josh Hawkes, there's positives there. I think he's more of an impact sub at the minute, I think, than a starter. But when he's come on and changed games, like Andy's referred to the front four. I don't know what the story is with Kavanagh. He wasn't there again. Mellon said last week that he was injured, but people have got their doubts about that. Yeah. But what we know, and I think Mickey Mellon said it from the start about building a team that represents Oldham and the people of Oldham. And I think what he has done is he's on the whole brought together a really good bunch of lads with a really good attitude who work really well, got a fighting spirit and all that. We've seen it this season. It's just the bit of quality. It's the concentration at the back, because defending is about concentration more than anything, and then just that instinct to finish and be clinical up top that we need to improve on next season. And I think we've got a good chance of being in the mix.
We do. I agree. We agree. There's a lot of positives to come out of this season, and it'd be good to see what the recruitment is. Hopefully, there's some good players come in. It's always good to start the season well, isn't it? First 5 or 10 games, if you can be up in that top part of the table, then that'll set you up for the rest of the season, hopefully.
So it's going to be an interesting season. We know that we're going to be able to go to York again, and they're going to come to us again. It would be nice to go to Spotland again. Obviously, it's a nice little trip down the road. But also, obviously, there is the potential for Carlisle and Forest Green. That wouldn't be much fun. I hope they don't come up. But League One is interesting. It looks like it's going down to the last game between Exeter City and Leyton Orient. 2 points separate them as it stands. Our old friends at Leyton Orient. I like going to Leyton Orient. I think it's a good away day. Better than Exeter, but I'm not wishing relegation on Leyton Orient by any means. No. Richie Wellens is struggling a little bit to keep them in League One. Very, very difficult division to be in. I think, looking at Leyton Orient, in terms of the size of the support and the stature of the club in London or in Greater London, like similar to us really, and it's a really difficult division to settle in. So we've got Northampton finished bottom, Port Vale. So we've got Port Vale and Rotherham to go to, which are some nice nice trips. So we'll see what happens there on the last game of the season.
And Orient have got somebody who has scored 25 or so goals. Ballard, I think.
Oh yeah,
so they've got somebody who scored a lot of goals, and they're still in that position towards the bottom. Like you say, in a lot of ways, are very similar to us, aren't they? Size of crowds and the potential that's there, and they're in West Ham's backyard, aren't they? Like we're in the backyard of some other clubs around us.
Exactly, yeah. But the thing, it's like when we had Harry Kewell as manager. You can score as many goals as you want, but if you concede more, then you're going to struggle. So
it was one of the adages of Joe Royal, wasn't it? We'll score one more goal than you. That was different then, wasn't it? But,
was, but exactly. I mean, it's not like our success back then was built on the best defenses, was it? It was like it was open and expansive football, and you're gonna concede, but when you got the kind of quality that we had up front there, you were always gonna succeed in scoring more often. But Wigan have pulled themselves out of it. They're okay now. So we'll have to wait another season or two before we get to go in and enjoy some trips to the likes of Wigan and Barnsley, Doncaster. Blackpool have really pulled themselves out of it. So League One is the promised land at the minute. That's where we need to be. I think it's mental that Stevenage are in the playoff spots. Anyway, Lincoln have done brilliantly. They've got 100 points in League One and won the league. Wow. Unbelievable achievement from Lincoln City. Good. When you think Cardiff City are in second place, look at the teams that they're above: Cardiff City, Bolton Wanderers, Bradford City. And Stevenage are in the mix for a playoff spot as well. So imagine Stevenage and Lincoln City both playing Tottenham next season potentially.
That'll be a Stevenage local derby against Tottenham.
Yeah. So it's there's being in that division is really exciting. I mean, the thing is with it. I mean, we look back on our days in League One. We don't look back on them with much fondness, do we? It was so drab.
It was 17 or 18 years of finishing 17th, apart from 4 or 5 good seasons. Yeah,
exactly. So it's it'll be different when we're there because, like I said, the club is on the up. There's a lot more momentum in that direction now. You can look at Bradford. They went up. They only went up last season, didn't they? And they're in 5th. So they've managed to carry on that momentum. Stockport are in the mix. They're guaranteed playoffs, but it's hard. You look at the resources that they've got. We talked last week, I think it was, or the week before, about how much Huddersfield spent on wages. They're in 9th. They're not making the playoffs. So it's really, really tough, isn't it? I mean,
they've all spent tens of, well, not all. Some of the clubs you've mentioned there have spent tens of millions on wages, haven't they? And it's not been positive for them. But like you say, linked so-called smaller clubs, and you've got to admire them for what they've done. Lincoln winning it with 100 points, and they're getting 10 or 12,000. Small town, city. They've done really well to get to that position. I suppose it shows you what you can do with a good manager, obviously, good players, and a good club, a well-run club, which is what we are, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's plenty of room for optimism. I was keeping an eye on the National League South because obviously our old pal down at Dorking Wanderers, Mark White, they were top of the table for a while there, but unfortunately they've dropped off. Worthing have won the league, and Dorking have finished. Well, they're in 4th, so they've got to go through the playoffs to try and get back up to the National League. But our days of playing the likes of Dorking Wanderers and Worthing are behind us, thankfully. Yeah. So that's very good news. Very good news. But we wish Dorking all the best.
Yeah.
So let's should we play Latics Mind?
Love to.
How did you get on last time?
I think we got one between us. It was a question from the 1950s. Yeah, not that I'm that old. But yeah.
No, right. Well, listen, you should do. In reality, lads, you should be doing better than most. You've got 2 grades there now, so come on. Yeah, best of luck. Here we go. Latics Mind is sponsored by Oldham Athletic Supporters Foundation, investing in the fans, the club, and the community. Join today at oasf.co.uk for just £12 a year. OASF, because we're stronger together.
Latics mind.
What's the name of the winger Latics have signed on loan from Barnsley this season?
Fabio Jallo.
Correct. Who scored Latics' last penalty in a regular National League game?
Joe Garner.
Correct. How many full-time managers did Latics have in the 2010s?
12.
Oh, unlucky. It was 13. How many goals in total have been scored in Latics' 3 visits to Wembley?
8.
Correct. In which competition did Latics compete in? Which competition did Latics compete in for the first time in the 97-98 season?
Anglo-Italian?
In 97-98? it was the Football League trophy.
Oh, well.
How many games did Latics win in the Full Members Cup /Simod/ZDS Cup? It obviously changed its name a bit. Between 86 and 91. How many games did Latics win?
0.
None. Correct. It took Latics until their 5th Football League trophy campaign to actually win a game. This came in 2001 against
Bradford City.
Tranmere Rovers. Which Latics player joined Torquay United last summer?
Stobbs.
Callum Dolan, isn't it?
Matt Worthington.
Oh, yeah.
Latics were relegated from League One in 2018 with Northampton, MK Dons, and which other side?
Port Vale.
Bury.
Oh.
Who
Ooh,
started or finish? Who was Latics' second top scorer in their championship season of 90-91?
It's one of 3, isn't it? Ian Marshall.
Neil Redfern.
No, he wasn't one of me 3 either.
No. Oh, well, and you did okay. You got 4 correct, I think. Jallo, Joe Garner, 8 goals at Wembley, no wins in the Full Members Simod ZDS Cup. So, yeah, so 4. That's all right.
That's all right. That's good.
That's a decent score. That. Yeah.
I mean, you did the I know you gave some really hard questions to Paul Prendergast and Paddy, didn't you?
Yeah, I think they both got 4, didn't they?
Ooh.
I think so. They'll probably be shouting at the screen now saying, "No, I got this many," but I think
they would have got more on our questions, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, that's it. They're the Champions League level questions that they have. Yeah. So good effort. Well done. Hope you did well at home playing along. Stephen, you mentioned earlier that Daniel had made a list of players. Daniel, who would you like to see coming into Latics next season?
I'll give about 5 or 6. I'll do 2 forwards, 2 midfielders, and I'll do a keeper as well on top of that. So probably one of the forwards, Danny Ormerod, is at Fylde. He's 19. He's not played so much in the end of the season, but he's got 31 goals for them.
Wow.
One I don't think people might have heard of a bit ago, Brandon Kavanagh. Don't think he's related to Callum Kavanagh. He's 25. He's at Drogheda United. He can play throughout like midfield, centre mid, attacking midfield. He can play up front as well. And he got 3 goals, 4 assists last season for St. Pat's. One looked at this season for a defender sort of to fill in that right back role. Ethan Ennis, who's on loan at Fleetwood from United, and he's got 6 goals, 7 assists for them this season.
No, that's someone I remember from earlier on in the season. Actually, yeah, he played very well. Yeah,
he was really good. He's probably the person on the right who probably gave Robson the most trouble, I'd say, this season. Because he's young, quite fast, and he had players around him. He played right wing back then, but still, it's a player to look at. And I think his contract ends at United this season as well.
Right.
So we could have him on a free maybe. Jamie Miley, who's at Hartlepool United, plays centre mid. He's got 2 goals and 4 assists for them so far this season.
Is he Miley who plays for Newcastle's brother?
He's his older brother, yeah. Mark Helm, who's at Fleetwood, 24, attacking midfielder. He scored that free kick when we played Fleetwood at home. He's got 12 goals and 7 assists. Keeper, lad who's at Accrington Stanley, Oliver Wright, who's on loan from Southampton. He was someone last year in non-league. I remember playing against him. Can't remember where he was exactly, but he's just been a solid keeper for them. I think he's got 12 clean sheets and he's saved 3 out of the 5 pens that he's faced so far this season. And an obvious one, I think, Sammy Braybrook, who's at Chesterfield, who was at Newport. That would get in because with obviously Leicester coming down, he may actually play for them. And considering how good he's been, how much he's shone in that Newport county team, and then also going to Chesterfield second half of the season.
He's a midfielder, isn't he?
He's centre mid, yeah. I'll just put them on here. I've got 2 lads from Scotland.
Greg Strong will know them.
Yeah, hopefully. Matty Todd, who's 24 from Dunfermline. He could play a right wing back and attacking midfield. And he's got 3 goals, 7 assists so far this season. And Aidan Fitzpatrick from Partick Thistle, who's 25, can play left wing, attacking midfielder. And he's got 4 goals and 13 assists this season.
Right, so I'm curious to know where you're getting your information from and how you're finding these players at potential signings for Latics.
Some of them, like there's a bunch that I've not named there, but like I think from December, late December, mid-December onwards, I sort of tried to find one player in each team that we played to like, are they good enough for us to sign? So like Bristol City, Tommy Lee, not Bristol City, Bristol Rovers. Tommy Lee, he was quite good for them. He's on loan from Bradford. He played midfield. He had long hair, headband on, and it's just I've been looking at that, and then also I've been using apps like FotMob and what else is there? SofaScore. It's like track all the stats of players, see like who does the most tackles, who like most penalty saves, stuff like that. And I've just mostly also had a look around like leagues, like I've got some from the Scottish Championship, being Matty Todd and Fitzpatrick. I just had a look around at who's been performing well in like League One, League Two, National League. I looked in Ireland as well and Scotland. I'm not going to look in Wales because there's not a lot of stats coverage there. But I've had a look. I've tried to find some players who are doing all right, but not like insanely well. Like your 20 goal seasons or like 17 goals a season or more in like the Scottish Championship or Ireland.
The thing, it's interesting because obviously stats are important, aren't they? I mean, like, the obvious one is like the goalkeepers, number of clean sheets, number of saves, strikers, number of goals they score, etc., etc. If you've got a midfielder that scores a lot of goals, whatever. But like, you can't be everywhere all at once, and you can't watch every single player. So like there is obviously, with all this information that's out there now, it's all collated, it's all gathered, it's all presented in apps and various places and whatever. Obviously, there's got to be a reason to go and watch somebody. Obviously, there might be a referral from somebody at a club or whatever within the scouting network, but you can obviously use stats as an indicator to go and check out players and see what all. If there isn't fuss, what the potential for somebody is. So I guess that is, there's no point having all this data and all this information on players if people aren't going to follow it up and aren't going to use it. I guess at the end of the day, that's where the experienced eye comes in. I mean, of being able to spot a player and say, you can't do it on one game, can you? But figuring out how do you do that? I mean, how do you say, well, if say a player's playing in the Irish League or in the Scottish Championship or National League North, like the lad you mentioned for File there, 19 years of age and 31 goals at National League North level. That sounds like a very good return, and it sounds very young for that. But how do you then identify whether that player is going to cut it at League Two level? We saw with Kurt Willoughby, didn't we, from National League North to National League. Thought that he's banging them in, he'll be able to cope. So I guess that experienced football eye and football brain is what you need to assess whether or not a player has the potential to break it at a top level. So hopefully Mr. Strong and Mr. Mellon, between them, have got enough nous and enough football experience to be able to identify. And what we need as well is we need those bargains, don't we? We need those. You need to. It's a really tough thing because you've got to take a chance in order that if it's obviously there's certain players that you pay your money for. They're going to deliver, but everybody's competing and the wages go. The ones that you have to take a chance on are the ones that you're going to potentially make a few quid on. But obviously they're a gamble, aren't they? So I don't think we need to be worrying, lads, do we, about sell-ons and things at this stage. What we want players that are going to get us out of League Two, don't we, fundamentally?
We do, yeah. Like you say, a mix of experience and youth who can gel well together, and as well as the stats that we've talked about there, and Daniel's made some great knowledge there. And especially with the way Mellon is and the way we should be as a club, you've got to look at the personality as well, haven't you? You've got to make sure they fit. And we know in the past there have been some who haven't fitted for that reason, and they've fallen by the wayside. But we need to have and all the players who we've got now who played yesterday and who played recently, they seem to play well together as a team and want to do well for the club, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. We've got some players now. Like obviously, the contracts come around quickly. They expire quickly, don't they? You're saying like Fondop last season got a 2-year deal, and he's completed one season already. So going into next season, with another, you're coming to the end of your end of your contracts, and one thing we know that the turnover of players is always relatively high. But we definitely know that we've got a decent foundation to build on for next season now. So it's just about getting those new signings right and trying to have strength in depth as well. We need to be able to cover. You need to be able to say, right, okay, Stevens needs to come off. We can put Josh Orts on in that position, and nice to see Regan Ogle back yesterday. I don't know what the story is with him. I don't think he's out of contract, isn't he, after this season? But is he?
I'm not sure, but I feel like he might have another year, maybe, because it was last season that they got him, wasn't it?
This is his second season.
Second season, yeah. But listen, next week, Andy will be back from his romantic break in Italy, and he will have everything prepared for us, so we know what the story is with who's what the contract situation with people are, and we'll do the squad pod after the Accrington game. So that sounds good. Yeah, onwards and upwards. Look forward to a good pre-season, some interesting signings, and a positive season next year in the top 10 and pushing
further on,
pushing for the playoffs. Yeah.
The Boundary Park Alert System is sponsored by Pendle New Tech, a family-run Lancashire business you can rely on for everything fire safety related, including supply and installation, maintenance, testing, certification, alarms, risk assessments, like I said, anything fire safety related. But what do I know? Visit pendle-nu-tech.com and they'll sort you right out. Check the show notes for more information.
How do you think York City are going to do next season since they've won the league, and do you think they'll push on?
Massively, I think they'll push on. They'll just throw money at it. And much as the players they've got now, they'll have to get rid of a lot, so they may get a lot of money from that or releasing them, stuff like that. And they'll just throw money at it, honestly. And they'll probably end up. I can see them finishing playoffs, maybe top end of playoffs, like 5th upwards. It just depends on who. Because you've got depends who stays down from the playoffs. So, say if Notts County don't go through, they're probably going to be up there already. And probably Bristol Rovers as well. I can see them already being up there without how they finish the season. And you probably get there as well.
it's going to be tough, isn't it? Swindon have dropped out of the playoffs as well. They've dropped a bollock. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be like there's no doubt about it. Next season, it's going to be. I think it's going to be even tougher, isn't it? It's going to be even tougher. I think with the teams that potentially are coming up from and the teams that are coming down. It's relentless. It's really, really unforgiving. I think I'd be quite happy to see Southend go up after what we put them through last season, and they've been down there for a while now in the National League. They're currently sitting in 6th place, but I mean, Carlisle and Boreham Wood finishing 3rd and 4th on 95 and 90 points. That's it's tough, isn't it? It's tough on some of those teams. They're not going to make it, and they've had really, really good seasons. But it's just the cruel world of the National League.
It is, as we experienced, and 3 seasons, wasn't it? But we came out of it, and we've come out of it better.
And what did we finish on? 73 points or something?
I think it was.
That wouldn't get you in the top. That wouldn't get you in the top 7 this season.
No.
So that wouldn't get you in the playoffs this season. So yeah, we our timing was very, very good last season to get out when we did. Yeah, we did.
The way the way it all played out at Wembley, going to extra time, going behind, 2 goals in a small number of minutes. James Norwood being fit.
Yeah,
that goal he scored, just unbelievable.
Yeah, all just came together.
Everything about that day was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was mega. So I mean, yeah, we'll have to see now what next season brings. We've got one more game this season. It hopefully be a nice sunny day at Boundary Park. We can finish the season with a win, and then we can get on with the hard work of building a promotion potential squad for next season in what is going to be a very, very competitive League Two. Lads, thanks very much for joining me today. There is a reason, Stephen, that we are doing an early recording. What is that?
So I play for the Latics over 60s walking football team, and we have a game, 3 games today at Bolton Arena. We play 3 consecutive 20-minute games against 3 other teams. We've joined a league which is in the Lancashire FA, and once a month we play at Bolton Arena and play 3 games. And then there's an over 50s team as well, and they play in a different league and also friendlies. It's I know you played at some point during last year, didn't you, on the Thursday evenings, Matt? I'm sure you enjoyed it. It's a great group of people run by organised by the Latics Community Trust and several other people who do an amazing job bringing together the people who play walking football from people who are in the 40s, 50s, 60s, like myself. Wonderful guys, wonderful girls who come along and play those games. Every one of them is an amazing person, and they do such a great job in bringing people together, such camaraderie as well. We'll go to Bolton this afternoon. Daniel always comes along and supports us as well, and hopefully we'll enjoy it. We'll have 3 games, and hopefully we'll win. We'll win some part of those games. Great group of people.
Brilliant. And I've got to give a shout out, Damien Collison from OASF. Yeah. He plays. His kid. I'm going to say kid because I can't remember. I think it's his son, but he's a ball kid. Ball boy, ball girls at Latics, and he asked me to give a shout out to all the ball boys, ball girls at Latics because they change around at the end of the season to the end of this season. So they do a great job, and he wanted to give me asked me to give them a shout out, so I'm going to give them a shout out. So fair play to all the ball boys, ball girls at Boundary Park, and
definitely and good. Damo's a great person as well, isn't he? He's a lovely
good lad. Yeah,
and he did the sleep out along with many other people on Friday night, didn't he? Yeah.
Of course, yeah, right, yeah. Fair play to anyone who braved the concrete for that one. Can't have been a very pleasant evening, but that's the idea. So yeah, brilliant, lads. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It's a beautiful day. Yes. Good luck representing Latics at Bolton Arena. Daniel, we will see if any of your tips for potential signings come off. If they do, obviously you will then be promoted to a potential recruiter for Latics, which is very exciting. You heard it here first.
He's had a missed call from somebody called Greg. I'm not sure
from Scotland. Brilliant. Nice one. Cheers, lads. Thanks very much. And we'll see you all for the final phone-in of the season on Thursday. Is it maybe the final phone-in or maybe not? I don't know. I haven't decided. For the phone-in on Thursday and then for the final podcast of the season next week.
Hey Dave, did you know that listeners can now buy us a coffee or any other kind of hot beverage? What's your favourite hot beverage, Dave?
A macchiato.
And how do you like your macchiato?
Black with lots of milk. Oh.
No cream?
No.
Well, if you want to buy Dave a
macchiato,
then go to buymeacoffee.com/We Are Oldham. I'll just have a Nescafe.
Oh. Thank you, listeners.